Do you think effective leaders are born or made? These days, the dominant view is that whilst inherited traits such as openness to experience can help leaders to emerge and be effective, all leadership skills can be developed with guidance and practice. We will now look at 8 fundamental principles and concepts relating to leadership development. We hope that you will use these to guide your developmental journey. The first principle is to take ownership of your own development process. Professor John Adair highlighted this principle by saying that no individual leader should ever depend upon an organisation to school him or her in leadership. The takeaway message is to get into the driver's seat to steer your developmental process. Also recognise that this process will continue throughout your career. The second principle is to have a leader identity. This means seeing yourself as a developing leader and consequently taking opportunities that align with that identity. Such opportunities may include volunteering to lead a challenging project, taking on a mentor, or participating in leadership-related training. Research by Professor David Day and colleagues indicates that adopting a leader identity is a critical step to accelerate development. The third principle is that leadership development starts with self-leadership. As to lead others, we must first lead ourselves. Self-leadership is the foundation on which we can build additional leadership competencies, such as the ability to influence others, lead a team, or lead an organisation. If there is work to be done on self-leadership, such as clarifying personal values and building resilience, make it a priority in your leadership plan. The next principle is that experience plus reflection results in learning. Developing leaders need to be reflective practitioners. Common methods for reflection include keeping a reflective journal, having conversations with mentors, conducting after-action reviews following major projects, or simply setting aside some time in one's diary to reflect. A typical reflection process would address questions such as, what did we try to do? What happened? Why? And what can we learn? The next concept is that leader and leadership development are different. Leader development focuses on the individual. Activities such as building self-awareness and clarifying personal values fit into this category. In contrast, leadership development focuses on the capacity of groups of people to work together to drive a process of influence. Activities such as helping a team to develop a team charter or a shared vision would fall into this category. Developing leaders should also understand the difference between vertical and horizontal leadership development. Traditionally, we have focused on horizontal development, which involves helping leaders to develop new skills such as active listening and giving feedback. There is now a strong case to place a greater emphasis on vertical development, which involves helping leaders to view the world in different ways. For example, seeing leadership as a process of influence that delivers direction, alignment and commitment rather than a position of authority. The next concept is known as the CAS model of leader development. This valuable model reminds us that effective leadership development interventions have 3 elements which operate in concert. The first element is challenge. This includes activities which stretch our comfort zone and require us to try new approaches. The second element is assessment. In other words, getting frequent feedback from our colleagues as we try new approaches. The final element is support, which means getting help when needed from more experienced people. The final concept is the 70-20-10 rule of leadership development. This is a widely accepted rule of thumb in the leadership development industry. It indicates that approximately 70% of developmental growth is likely to occur through practice. For example, taking on a challenging job assignment, such as leading a major project. A further 20% is likely to occur through developmental relationships, which includes getting feedback and help from mentors and coaches. And only 10% is likely to occur through structured training. This rule is one of the reasons why we are encouraging you to build and use an individual leadership development plan. The plan represents a key to unlock the potential of learning by doing and developmental relationships. Let's conclude by reflecting on 7 questions to prompt you to consider how you could apply these principles and concepts. Are you comfortable with the concept of taking control and steering your own development process? Do you see yourself as a developing leader? Are you a reflective practitioner who has developed habits of frequently reflecting to learn from experience? Does self-leadership need to be prioritised in your leadership plan? Will your leadership plan include some actions to help groups of people to engage in leadership, or will it focus entirely on building your individual capacity? How will your plan include elements of challenge, assessment and support? And finally, how could you apply the 70-20-10 rule of leadership development by challenging yourself, learning by doing, getting feedback, and benefiting from developmental relationships with people such as mentors?